Welcome to VNT. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. The global order is being upended by a dramatic shift in American foreign policy. Under President Trump, the U.S. has adopted aggressive economic nationalism, treating even its closest allies as rivals. In 2025, sweeping tariffs, 25% on all Japanese imports, signaled a new era, American economic dominance enforced by coercion. For Japan, long dependent on U.S. security and market access, this is a seismic shock. The Trump administration's philosophy is clear: international trade is a zero-sum game, and multilateralism is out. Allies are now expected to pay for security and access through direct investment in the U.S., not mutual agreements. This approach is forcing nations like Japan to question their reliance on America and consider new partnerships. The era of mutually beneficial trade is over. The world must adapt to a more transactional, punitive U.S. strategy. The trade deal forced on Japan is a stark display of American leverage, a clear reminder of who holds the upper hand in this new era of global economics. The negotiations were tense, with every detail scrutinized and every concession extracted under pressure. Under the agreement, Japan is compelled to invest a staggering $550 billion in the U.S. by 2029, an amount set entirely by Washington, with little room for negotiation. This investment is not just a number, it represents a massive transfer of capital, technology, and influence, all dictated by American interests. The U.S. government maintains strict control over how and where this money is used, ensuring that American priorities are always served first. In return, the profits are heavily skewed. America claims 90%, leaving Japan with a mere 10%, a fraction of what such an investment would normally yield. On top of this, a punishing 15% tariff is slapped on all Japanese exports to the U.S., dealing a severe blow to Japan's once thriving auto and electronics industries. Factories slow, stores close, and export profits plummet, threatening jobs and livelihoods across Japan. Japan is strictly prohibited from retaliating with its own tariffs or trade barriers. Meanwhile, American products flow into Japanese markets with unprecedented ease, crowding out local competitors and reshaping consumer choices. If Tokyo dares to resist or even question the terms, the U.S. president has the authority to impose even harsher tariffs at a moment's notice, tightening the economic vice further. Japanese negotiators pleaded for relief, for some measure of compromise, but their appeals were dismissed outright. The message was clear: accept the deal as it is, or face even worse consequences. Japan is not alone. The European Union and South Korea have been presented with similar ultimatums, forced to make massive investments, endure high tariffs, and stripped of any right to push back. This is not a partnership of equals. It is economic subjugation, with America firmly at the center, dictating terms while its allies are pushed to the margins, their autonomy eroded. The rules of global commerce are being rewritten before our eyes, and for Japan, the space to maneuver is shrinking fast. The world is watching, and the consequences will echo for years to come. The humiliating deal sparked outrage and disbelief across Japan, shaking the nation's confidence. Protests erupted in the streets, and the media fiercely condemned the government for surrendering economic sovereignty. Prime Minister Ishiba, widely blamed for capitulating to U.S. pressure, faced a revolt within his own party. With approval ratings in freefall, Ishiba resigned, an unprecedented political casualty of American coercion and diplomatic pressure. The crisis triggered a heated national debate. Can Japan truly trust the U.S. as a reliable partner? A new consensus is emerging. Japan must diversify its alliances and pursue a more independent, self-reliant foreign policy. The fallout has left a political vacuum and a legacy of bitterness that will shape Japan's future for years to come. With its U.S. alliance in crisis, Japan is forced to look elsewhere. For decades, Japan's foreign policy and economic security have been closely tied to the United States, but recent tensions have shaken this foundation. The once unbreakable trust between Tokyo and Washington is now under strain, leaving Japanese leaders to question their long-term strategy. The BRICS bloc, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and new members, now appears as a potential counterweight to American dominance. As BRICS expands its influence, it offers an alternative vision for global cooperation, one that is not dictated by Western priorities. BRICS aims to reform the global order, reduce reliance on the U.S. dollar, and promote trade in local currencies. This shift could reshape international finance, giving countries like Japan more flexibility and independence in their economic dealings. For Japan, joining or cooperating with BRICS is no longer unthinkable. It's a practical move for economic survival. Japanese corporations are already exploring new partnerships, seeking opportunities in emerging markets that promise growth and stability. The bloc's unity has grown in response to U.S. tariffs, making it a more credible partner. As BRICS nations coordinate their policies, they present a united front that can negotiate on equal footing with the West. Aligning with BRICS is risky. Japan has deep differences with China and Russia, but the risks of staying dependent on the U.S. are now greater. Navigating these complex relationships will require careful diplomacy and a willingness to adapt to a changing world order. The Trump administration's actions have pushed Japan to a tipping point. Trade wars, unpredictable policies, and shifting alliances have all contributed to Japan's growing sense of vulnerability. Tokyo is now seriously considering a future where its main partners are not in the West, but among the rising powers of the global South. This represents a dramatic shift in Japan's worldview, as it seeks to diversify its alliances and secure its place in a multipolar world. The search for new alliances has become a strategic imperative. For Japan, the path forward is uncertain, but the need to adapt has never been clearer. Japan is not alone in feeling the pressure. America's increasingly coercive trade strategy has left a trail of discontent among its closest allies, straining relationships that once seemed unbreakable. The European Union, for example, was compelled to accept a staggering $600 billion U.S. investment package, commit to massive purchases of American goods, and swallow a 15% export tariff. Even more striking, the EU was denied any right to retaliate, leaving European leaders frustrated and their economies under pressure. South Korea, another long-standing ally, faces the same harsh tariffs and humiliations. A high-profile police raid on South Korean workers in the U.S. sent shockwaves through Seoul, highlighting the vulnerability of even the most loyal partners. These heavy-handed measures have sparked outrage across continents, fueling nationalist movements and anti-American sentiment. Protests have erupted, and officials have openly questioned the fairness of U.S. policies, further undermining trust in the alliance system. America's approach is systematic and calculated, extracting maximum economic benefit, even if it means sacrificing the goodwill and stability of long-standing partnerships. The focus on short-term gains is beginning to erode the foundations of global cooperation. As a result, allies are now openly questioning the value of their allegiance to Washington. Diplomatic meetings are marked by tension and uncertainty, with some leaders even choosing to walk away from the table. The shared pressure is driving these countries to seek common solutions in alternative forums, such as BRICS, where they hope to find a more balanced and respectful approach to international cooperation. As U.S. power is wielded more coercively, the incentive for allies to reduce their dependence on America grows stronger. Many are now exploring new trade routes, diversifying supply chains, and forging fresh alliances. The result is a growing vacuum in global leadership, as old alliances weaken and the world becomes increasingly open to new alternatives and shifting power dynamics. BRICS has evolved from a loose group of emerging markets into a formidable global force. With new members like Egypt, Indonesia, and the UAE, BRICS now represents a major share of global population and GDP. Its mission: create a multipolar world, reduce dependence on the US dollar and offer alternatives to Western-led institutions. The bloc's new development bank and local currency initiatives provide a financial safety net outside U.S. control. Ironically, Trump's aggressive policies have unified BRICS, accelerating cooperation and political cohesion. The bloc's coordinated response to U.S. tariffs shows its growing influence. For countries like Japan, BRICS offers a vision of partnership and shared power, not domination. The appeal of a world governed by many, not one, is growing stronger. Japan stands at a crossroads, forced to rethink its place in a fractured world. The U.S. trade deal shattered decades of foreign policy consensus and exposed the risks of over-reliance on America. Now Japan must balance old alliances with the need to forge new ones, especially with blocs like BRICS. The world is splitting into rival economic camps, and Japan is caught in the middle. In the near term, Tokyo will hedge mitigating U.S. damage while cautiously engaging with BRICS. This strategic shift could make Japan a more independent and assertive global player. The process will be slow and challenging, but the era of unquestioned U.S. leadership is over. Japan's future, and the future of global politics, will be defined by how it navigates this new reality.